Yo, what is going on, everybody? I hope you're well. We are going over the finals of the last game, the game number 7, Drali versus Mawkzy for the European RLCS 1v1 Grand Finals. And boy, oh boy, was this brilliant. This really was why we love this game. Let me get the scoreboard up here. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? If you watched this live, you probably had goosebumps. It was so exciting. All of the ones games, I watched them all. And I can't say that about Freeze. You know, I really struggle to watch Freeze. I find it sometimes almost a little bit boring. Even with the top players, I do find it a little bit boring. It's just the same. But ones, I tell you what, I love watching ones. And I think this has been a thing for a while, hasn't it? A lot of people do find ones more interesting to watch. When I watch replays, it's usually ones and twos. But this was phenomenal. And I'm really glad this has been added into RLCS. And it's giving people the ability to shine as individuals, you know. The world stage, you can still shine as an individual. Look at Zen and look at Drali at the moment, considered the best player in the world. But I really like ones because it allows you to shine in a different manner. I feel there's much more of a chess match in ones. And that's probably because I'm ignorant to Freeze. People will probably say you're wrong. But I feel like, you know, you need the good 50 to come through. You have general basics of movement, general ideas of cutting, But in ones, you can use a whole heap of different strategies to have success, and this is what we saw in this series. Drali much more of an aerial threat, and again, not saying that Mawkzy wasn't, but Drali used a lot more all-in plays and a lot more aerial plays throughout this series, whereas Mawkzy used a lot more of his flicking and his carries to create plays that he could almost set up with other plays, like an air dribble bump, because he's carrying the ball and previously he was flicking it. So he's doing a multitude of things just from a carry to allow himself space and freedom of movement and to get plays like this, very high percentage plays. So he's not all in, whereas Drali's a lot more all in to try and get around Mawkzy. So he's still showing the, you know, the fundamental approach, winning really well, like that grounded approach. But what it also shows, I mean, don't get me wrong, like Mawkzy's, you know, they've both got incredible mechanics, but it still shows that percentages are the way to go. And I think still, you know, we've spoke about it before, that, you know, if you can get your mechanics super duper good, you know, like Drali, like one of the best. I mean, look at that, what the hell, that you can take more risks, and obviously the recovery is getting better. But even now, as we've said before, it is scalable. For example, if you have SSL level mechanics or world-class mechanics like Drali, and you have world-class mechanics like Mawkzy, then it'll come down to your strategy and your kickoffs a lot in ones. So you can see there the fake in the aerial, and we're going to go over this and see if there's anything we can steal, we can use for our gameplay. And I'm sure there is, because this is what it's all about, man. I tell you, this was great to watch. And yeah, absolute goosebumps. One of the things, Drali, I was almost hoping Drali would take the whole competition in a selfish way. 2 years ago, I put a video on here on a replay analysis, and I said that I believe, judging by map space being the key in Rocket League, possession of map space, that being able to take the ball back and air dribble from your own half would be the way to go. And that was, of course, the start of the pacifist system. If you don't know what that is, if you're new here, that is a system that was developed based on the statistics of Rocket League so that you can easily implement it without having massive, you know, high-level mechanics. And, you know, originally we spoke about 5-6 years ago taking the ball back and how that would be extremely advantageous in twos as well, because it was built for twos. And a lot of the stuff in that system was, you know, got from ones and twos, and yeah, people rejected that, said it was a terrible idea. Now everyone's doing it. And then the next thing was, well, actually, I reckon the next big thing will be taking the ball back into your own corner, your own backboard, and then doing full map air dribble, flip resets and stuff. And again, said it was a terrible idea, and now it is becoming the meta. So Drali is probably the #1 player at doing that in the world, and he was doing that all through this tournament, taking it back, as you see again, taking it back, and he was going for these full map air dribbles and flip resets, and he was having a lot of effect. And you can see what it allowed him to do there is it allows him to change the pace. So instead of going for the full map air dribble, he was now trying to create map space by faking it to set, well, Mawkzy back in retreat. But it didn't work because he's just He's just on another level, I think, to be quite honest. But what we're going to see from Mawkzy is really smart positioning. The positioning is amazing. The usage of hitbox is incredible. And yeah, we're going to look into this a little bit more in depth in a minute. But you can see a lot of battles around the corner, but the control was amazing. And I don't think it's this game because this is the last game, but there was one of the matches had probably the greatest save I have ever seen. I actually was had this on my phone, and I was having a shower while I was watching it, you know. And I looked over and I said, "Oh, that's a goal." And then I saw Mawkzy catch the ball on the goal line and dribble it off, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Now I think that double touch, a lot of people was going crazy about that, but as you can see, it wasn't particularly impressive. As far, I mean, it's a logical save, isn't it? It looked impressive because he let it bounce first, but it was an impossible. There's no way Drali could ever score that because of the positioning Mawkzy took. So I know they did get a bit excited about that one, but really it was the positioning. It made sense. It wasn't like a surprise, whereas the other save was because it looked like he had been beaten. So that was crazy. We saw a lot of tilt in this game. We saw a lot of forfeits early. You know, I don't agree with any of the commentators saying that, oh, they should wait for the kickoff. And the thing is, what if they lose that kickoff? Are they going to be more tilted? Is that going to really stress them out and annoy them? Like, you kind of have to know when to stop. I think that's the thing. And I think these guys knew when to stop. You've got to keep your head clear, and getting frustrated and taking another kickoff and snowballing is not a thing you want to do. So I think, you know, I'm not a big fan. I feel like the commentary has got... I like the commentary, but I feel it's gone a bit ridiculous lately. You know, they laugh at everything. If someone misses an open net, and instead of just saying, oh, they missed an open net, they laugh like it's the funniest thing they've ever seen in their life. I don't understand it. They just missed an open net. They're laughing and crying. It's just ridiculous. And, you know, now sort of slagging off the players for like, yeah, you know, what they should have done is they should have... it's a terrible idea, almost calling them quitters and stuff. You don't get to this level by quitting, guys. Come on, use your common sense. And I'm sure I can go get replays where you guys forfeit before taking the kickoff in one. So let's be real here. You know, people have got emotions, and I actually think it was a real smart idea. I don't disagree with any of the forfeits, because for that person at that moment, it made sense. And that's all that you can be thinking. You got to, like, protect your mentor in these big tournaments. You might just need to put the controller down for 5. You may just want to relax your eyes for a second. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it than this. Let's have a look at this then. So, kickoff. And here's what we're talking about. The 50-50s in this level are just insane. And it's all about who gets that inside touch last is going to be the one who gets rewarded. Again, not always, but when you take a 50 from an inside position, so that is closer to the center of the map, pushing outwards, versus the opponent who's more on the outside, then the 50 allows you to exploit the net straight away. As you can see here, we got an angle on net straight away. When you take it the other way, if we were to get through here as Mawkzy, what would happen is that would go to the corner. So it wouldn't be as effective. So great 50s. You can see here, something you can add to your game straight away. Anyone here, I reckon, watching this, I know we've got a few top 100 players that I've spoke to, but the side flip here, okay? Look at them both use the side of their car to side flip in these 50s. Ready? Side of the car, and then Drali's side of the car. Drali, the reason he wins this is he doesn't accelerate through the 50 collision. So if you look at this is something you can add to your game right away, is take 50s with the side of your car and don't push like through the ball. Like Drali just hits that ball because he's not moving as fast as Mawkzy. Hence why Mawkzy starts here, lands over here, where Drali takes the jump here and lands here because he's not moving as quickly or throwing as much momentum forward into that, which is really important to know. And generally 50s, you want to take them with a side flip. You really do want to take them with a perfect side flip. If you want to know more about that, I've done coaching with Ben on this channel. When I talk about the perfect side flip, of course, the first thing I teach people in the pacifist system is the perfect side flip as far as a mechanic, because it's so valuable. And it's not what you think. The perfect side flip is something that it sounds simple. It is actually difficult to do. If you mastered that one move, you will have better 50-50s, and I'm going to say the 99% of the player base, quite frankly, because I feel that I have better 50-50s than the majority of players. And if you look at the ranking, actually, you're in, say, the top 0.03% of the player base, well, then you can probably say that's true. And that's before Silence released their ranked schedule thingy. Anyway, let's get back into this. So, kick off again. Mawkzy on the inside position. Drali goes for the boost. So, Mawkzy's on 12 boosts here, and he just postures really well. So, you probably won't get away with this in like under Grand Champion ones. The opponent will just dive on this. But because Mawkzy's doing something that you guys should be doing, and Drali knows that, a lot of players will be like this, in this position. They have no idea what they're looking at. Whereas Mawkzy is, of course, in car cam. And the real high-level players are trying to see their opponent. And one of the great pieces of advice I remember hearing, and this was from Precepts, it was a great piece of advice. Don't so much think about what you can see. Think about what the opponent can see. And when you think what the opponent can see, it can change a lot of things. Now, Drali knows that Mawkzy can see him. So if he tries to challenge here, he'll just get out-flicked. And that'll allow Mawkzy to recover some boost. So he's got to shadow to try and time the challenge. So he's trying to shadow, and he's trying to drag him back, staying close, but he's not really going to do anything. Couple of little fakes there to force Mawkzy to hit the ball hard while he takes the ball all the way back and rinses the boost. And then he goes off the backboard. I really think, and I'm going to say it again, this is the future of the game. I am convinced it's the most high percentage thing you can do in the game. If you get this down, which when the players are getting more and more mechanical, if you can get this bit down here, like Drali has, I think that it's like that. If that shot was bar down and in, that's such a perfect setup. So I've got to say, like, I really think that is the best way to create offense, is to drag the ball back and do that. And you can do that, you know, in twos, especially with a system, you can do that easily. But anyway, enough about that. Get into this. So yeah, Mawkzy stopping right at the back post here. He's got no choice because he's got to make sure he doesn't get shot behind. Bar down and just on the line. So he gets, and again, instantly watching. He's watching the whole time. Watching, where's Drali? Where's Drali? When this ball hits the crossbar, look how he instantly goes into car cam. If you're in deep net as second man and the ball hits the backboard, forget the ball. Come straight into car cam. You're looking for your opponents. Is he close enough to actually take that ball? Is this dangerous? No. You see how he sees him and then he can take an extra second. Doesn't panic. Really important this is, guys. Lovely trip. So we often say, and something you can add to your game, always play your offense high. Always play your offense high because it forces the opponent to jump, of course. And when they jump, they are in danger. The only way this isn't true is if they've, you know, caught the ball perfectly, they're going for a double touch, etc., etc. But if they've jumped to hit the ball, they're now in danger because we can get under their car. And so we can freeze them out of the game for an extended period of time whilst we steal the resources, which is exactly what Mawkzy does. And now here, you don't necessarily need to go to net. And I think this is what Mawkzy is masterful at in a way, is knowing when and when not to go to net. We say presence is everything in this game. The perception of what you can do is more valuable sometimes than what you can do to your opponent. So case in point here, from Drali's perspective, he knows that Mawkzy can off and on this, so he has to jump up. And he has to use his boost and his resources to do that. So Mawkzy doesn't need to go for that. See how he doesn't actually bother with the flip? He just single jumps down. You don't have to flip into this stuff, guys. Just jump. If they've got you covered, just jump. And there we go. The flip, so this is really important. So on the first hit, Mawkzy now realizes they're higher on boost because they'll be boost counting in some fashion. Well, they'll be aware of the boost. They do a backflip. Doesn't matter if they lose that because they should be able to recover in time. And it's the half flip. And then again, boom. See how they put it high. And the real key here is that Mawkzy does not end up in the net. You'll see a lot of players who are platinum, diamond, even champ, and they'll say, well, why didn't Mawkzy just air dribble this in? Why didn't they flip it in? Because it's so easy to save this. A neat little touch here that's enough to block the whole ball getting into the net will pinch outwards. And when that happens, Mawkzy will end up in the net, and then that'll be a goal. So you'll see that the players are getting really good now, and I really think O'Khalid and Fairy Peak were some of the first to really get this going, Grub Killer, to not fully commit themselves into the net. So you'll see Mawkzy again doesn't fully commit himself. He actually here boosts away from the net, obviously gives himself an angle, but just because of how dangerous being in the net is, you see here he's boosting away to get an angle. If you're going to end up in the net, you want it to be a goal. But you'll see that there's almost this thing where I don't even want to flip into the net. So here, he actually just like single jumps into that. He doesn't want to throw himself into the net. This is similar to diving into the corner. When you dive into a net, into a corner, the wall is so weird that it can really mess your car up. Again, good retreat here. So Drali's got the ball. Difference is where Mawkzy would carry that, maybe look for a flick. Drali's going to go to the wall first and then get the carry, which actually isn't too crazy. Goes up for the aerial. And again, Mawkzy actually taking an outside shadow here, showing him the net. One of the little tips for you is when you've got a player who uses a lot of aerial plays, an outside shadow is usually better, to be honest, because you'll be able to come across with the save, which makes it a little bit less mechanically demanding, but you'll also be able to recover with momentum after, as opposed to an inline shadow can be very tricky to do that. Inline shadows tend to be better for players who are using a lot of shots or flicks where you can get up with the ball or you can just redirect the shot. So using all your different shadows is important. And again, an inside shadow can be an early funnel in twos as well. So different shadows for different jobs. Mawkzy desperately trying to be on the inside position for these 50s. Like here, see how he tries to get back into position? Because he's trying to get what's known as goal side. And that is between the ball and the net. You should really try and defend in that manner, which is why I just say inside position. Because if you're on the inside, you're pretty much goal side anyway, by default. So now we've mixed up the shadow in here to an inside shadow. This will probably look familiar to quite a lot of people who watch this channel. We are in car cam, which means we can see the opponent flip. We know based on their positioning, which is a smart position. This is the thing. It's all about chess. So Drali has to take a challenge on an inside position. He has to. He can't go for an outside challenge here because he's all in on this challenge. So he has to do it from the inside, because if he loses it, it's safe it goes to his corner. But if he wins it, it's also safe it goes to the opponent's corner. If he was on the outside, if he wins it, don't get me wrong, it would go to the net. But if he loses it, it would go to his net. People aren't going to be willing to take that chance, and rightly so. So Mawkzy sees all this, so he doesn't need to challenge this. He just drives straight back and he goes to the next available boost position. This one. Now here, all he's concerned with is getting his vision, which is why he jumps. You will probably know one of the fundamental rules I bang on about a lot when it's around the backboard: match the height of the ball early, because that gives you vision for free. If you can do what Mawkzy does here, which is real simple, you just jump past the ball and get to the same height as it, you now can see everything. What would you guys do? You would maybe turn here and you'd be here and you'd see this. Okay? And as an opponent, if I see you on the ground, I'm just going to demo you because I know you probably can't see me. Whereas here, from Drali's perspective, it looks like at any second, Mawkzy could jump off and flip this, right? And that's the whole point. You can do this on the wall. If the ball goes up the wall, don't wait here for it, unless you can clearly see they're away. Get up to the height of the ball. And that way, it looks like you're going to hit it. And it's going to keep them in position. So you can then start to manipulate the ball the way you want. Inside position again, inside to outside, and boom. Sets up what he looks for non-stop here. And he really is masterful at this, is Mawkzy. Is using his defense and his posturing, because he could go up here, and he's always in car cam for these situations, because you can... If you get good at car cam, you can easily go up an edge without car cam. But he needs to see, boom, he sees him. And he's watching Drali here. Now, Drali is playing to Mawkzy's hand, because Drali is going for an outside shadow here, which makes it easy for Mawkzy to see where he is. That's why he's going for a lot of air dribble bumps, because he knows he's got to come across this path. Same with flicks. It's easy for him to fake this and stuff later on than if Drali was mixing his shadow in, it would be much more effective. So if he flipped away here, like this, then went across here, now that could look like, as he's going across here in a snake formation, that he's going to challenge that. And then he could come across there, you see what I'm saying, to get the go early. But it's very regimented with this shadow in, which I think he is snaking. Like, you can see Drali snaking, but he's just not doing it enough to fake. So you see how he might, it could be the stress of the game. He probably thinks that he's going through to the ball here. So let me see if I can do this. Let me turn on my display capture. And let me get my pen up. Hopefully this works. So I kind of want to show you what I mean with this. Let's see if this works. I've got to take that off. So let's see. Oh. Yeah, I think that's working. So Drali can be seen here. And he's done like a little snake-like movement. So he's come from here and he's moved in and he's moved out and he's moved in. But it's not enough to fake because we can see him. Had he have gone from here into this position as the ball was on top of the car, then to snake out, then to here, this bit here could fake a little bit more. If you watch that again, knowing that, you'll understand what I'm on about. See the snake-like pattern here from Drali. So he's inside, outside with the flip. Now watch this. He'll turn to sell a challenge, but he just doesn't sell it enough. And he also doesn't boost into that sell. So it just doesn't look convincing from Mawkzy, which is why he didn't react. And you'll see a lot of the sort of fakes attempted. Mawkzy didn't really react on a lot of it. Again, this is the game of chess. So Mawkzy's done a carry with the ball in a very deceptive position here. To the untrained eye, it looks like he's trying to set something up. To the trained eye, he's not trying to set anything up here except to get a defensive push from Drali. Notice the carry. He's actually carrying the ball on the inside position, as in he's close to the middle, not central, how you would if you were flicking, or on the outside, which is a terrible idea. He's on the inside. He might try and flick this to the corner, he might try and flick around it, but really he is aware that Drali's going to challenge this, so he's just carrying it like this, so he can see him to get a challenge. That challenge comes from the inside to outside because, again, Drali has the fundamentals. So it blocks goal side, then gets onto the inside, aka goal side again, and takes a 50 inside to outside. But because Mawkzy's planned all this, it's not a surprise. So he's not trying to win. Again, notice he's grounded. He's not trying to flick. So that allows him to get back. And it's all about that boost race. Perceived boost race. So here, Drali knows that. And he goes for that boost. There is actually a clip there. Doesn't seem to do anything. And Mawkzy can just turn and just put the shot on straight away. He's not wasting time. Really smart play there by Mawkzy to get the overcommit for the boost. You can absolutely do that in twos if you allow your first man to thrive by not trying to cut in a second man and force the rotation. We saw a lot of this in the gameplay. A lot of 50-50, like delayed kickoffs, I should say, sorry. Which was very interesting. So let's go back to this kickoff. Right here, we saw this, boom. And, yep, it's just unfortunate. It is one of those. Yep, it is a goal. Again, great kickoffs all round. Mawkzy definitely had the better kickoffs in this throughout the whole of the best of 7. And this was phenomenal. So, you'll see here, right, so trying to recover. Doesn't win the boost battle. Notice this movement here. Like, even though Mawkzy gets scored on, you can use this. It's what I just mentioned. He's getting above or matching the height of the ball near a surface. It's so important, guys. So here, he cannot stay grounded. Because if he stays on the floor here, the ball will get pushed. Drali could just go underneath it, demo him. A lot of things can happen. You've got to get either in line with the ball or above the ball here. The reason is that it won't allow Drali to get the demo. If we're above the ball here, he's got to go out of his way to get a demo. So it wouldn't work. We're going to be saved by the ball. The ball is actually going to protect us from the demo. And it can also make it difficult for him to see us. So here, grab, come here. And then Mawkzy starts to climb. And now it's difficult to find him. Okay, he's climbed into an awkward position. But it also means he doesn't get beat above him. And that's what you don't want in corners. You want to be above the ball so that you can like take 50s down into the ball. So the ball doesn't go above your head. Because if it does, you're going to have to lose track of something. It'll either be the player or the ball. You're going to have to decide. So really, I can't stress that enough how key that is that he matched the height of the ball. And this is incredible from Drali. I mean, the stuff we saw in this was amazing. It's unreal. We saw Cooks do this back in the day, this sort of movement pattern. You know, these flicks where it flicks it up in the Batmobile were crazy. But you just don't expect it, and that creativity is great to see. So Mawkzy blocking, Drali with an incredible outplay, and that's it. That's game. Because in this situation, it's similar to what happens to a lot of people, but you guys it will happen to for a different reason, is you're staying grounded. And you're under the ball. So you'll take a 50 and you'll lose it via a dunk, or you'll just be on the ground here. So this whole play will be the same, but you're here, and then now you're here. And even for Mawkzy, he's got to decide, he needs to find Drali, right? So he's got to decide now, car cam or ball cam, either one I don't get the vision. And that's really key. If I was here in ball cam, I can see my opponent, right? Which is why we go to the backboard. I can see everything. Even if it's you center that perfectly, I can see Drali the whole way, okay? Same here. Okay, if I center that board, I can see him. This is why we match the higher ball. As soon as I come here, doesn't matter where I am, I don't see Drali. Okay? And so Mawkzy knows there's zero value to looking at the ball here, so he goes into car cam, but unfortunately, he just can't find him. He can't find him because Drali's gone into the blind spot based on the car positioning. Again, think what your opponent can see. So if you're Drali here, when he gets this flick and he sees Mawkzy's on the ground, it's game over. Because Mawkzy's also side on. He cannot get a vision of Drali whilst being able to perform mechanics because he's going to need his thumb to look at the camera joystick. And that's going to, basically that blinds him. So he either chooses vision or to do a mechanic, and like you can't do both. And you need to be able to do both in that situation. So really well played from that. And yeah, it's just the level where we expect now. It's just so cool. Mawkzy's quite harsh on his fakes. Like when he does these, it's very, very like, it's not smooth at all, but it's efficient. I don't know how he's doing this actually. Is he purposely over rotating to get the turn? No, I think he's just landing. Maybe he's breaking into a power slide. But to see this, I mean, he does this a lot. He just sort of flips forward and then it's a very abrupt power slide. And it's just so clean. He doesn't waste any boost. And you can look at this from the opponent's position. Like, it's so clean the way he does that. What a great skill. Again, it's that fundamental movement. Just learning to drive it is key here. So you see Drali goes up straight away, gets a flip reset. Mawkzy goes up to the ceiling to make it look like he's challenging. And then will come back down. He didn't want to commit there. And then takes the 50. This could have been risky. This could have been risky because Drali's able to get a really nice hitbox on that compared to Mawkzy, who ends up more with the nose, whereas the side of the car is more powerful than the nose for 50s because you have a greater hitbox, which is why it sort of hits Drali's car again and could almost go in. And now we're seeing the same thing that we saw Mawkzy do earlier, or is this Drali again actually, which is shadow him to give the ball to him. So he stole the boost out the corner and he's purposely backing off. This is where people think you should challenge. You don't need to challenge. Similar in twos, you don't need to challenge this. In fact, challenging this would be very dangerous in twos because the ball will probably go into the middle for the opponent. This is the whole thing. So you want to be good at shadowing and then taking the 50. I mean, this is just great. In twos, you could take this further back if you wanted to set up a counter-attack. But you see again, Mawkzy using the height of the car relative to the ball to, one, get vision, but two, make it look like he's going to do something. So a lot of people would hit that up there and they're low on boost, and I know they would. They'd be here. So many people would be here. If it's near a wall, and you are also near a wall, if it has any bounce, any roll, match the height of it so you're right next to it. It looks like you're going to do something. Drali knows he can't do anything because he just boost starved him. So basically, he's getting to the last spot the ball's going to come to the ground before it bounces. Like, so on the bounce. This way, Mawkzy can't get under it and scoop into a side flip if he let it bounce one more. So he's trying to get into this position, side on, as Mawkzy comes down so he can take the challenge, and then boom. Notice instantly, guys, really you've got to add this to your game. Get up the wall now. It just helps you get the vision, but it also looks like you're going to do something. I can't stress that enough. This is something I see hold people back massively in ones and twos. If you're under Grand Champ, I'd say if you're under Grand Champ 2, Grand Champ 3, you're probably not doing this enough. And you'll see, you've got zero vision. As soon as we drive here, we now have vision. Just from one little drive onto the wall to get our perspective with the ball different, it gives us the vision whilst in ball cam. If this was twos, I'd probably say go a bit higher because now you really do see everything. And if the second man's coming in, you can just shoot over the top. So just something to consider. Gets the carry. and goes for the Mawkzy flick on Mawkzy. Let's have a look at this then. So, yeah, Mawkzy trying to push it forward. Goes down the middle for pads. He does have... Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this could be more refined here. These stop and turns. He's using the speed flip. But yeah, I mean, don't know. Not too sure about that. I wonder if there's a smoother way. It is, but it is efficient. That's the thing. He actually gets a hit on this. You can actually see it and hear it. Or you did last time. Seems to change every time. What the hell? Yeah, brilliant flick. Mawkzy's gone wide. The boost isn't there, and it's game over. Had the booster been there, might have had a better chance, but brilliant flick from Drali again. Exceptional play from both of these two. Again, Mawkzy watching. He's a great watcher. This is why he's so good. It's his vision. He watches so much, and he doesn't react. Like, so many people would just go up and just hit this now. But you know, like, you got to wait. We call it wait for second. And it means second touch. Same when we're in the system if we're on boost pad 2. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just message me on Discord. We got literally a free booklet you can take, which will help you rank up in games. It's completely free. It's a little booklet, the introduction to the pacifist system. And, you know, obviously we have the full course, but there's a lot of content around that you can use to help. There, again, another ghost hit here, which isn't great. You actually hear it. And again, from Drali not diving in here because he's thinking more so about faking to get Mawkzy to commit so he can do what he did before. So he's trying to get him to commit, but the boost spawns. And again, look at this. It's so valuable to match the height of the ball that Drali's just going to reverse to try and get as high as he can because he knows how powerful it is. And Mawkzy knows this, so he has to go because he sees him upside down. He's got the vision. Follows him in. Boost grab here, wide. Again, trying to get a bit of a view there. And a close inside shadow because he's looking to hide here. When I say inside, it is an outside shadow, don't get me wrong, but he's trying to sneak inside there. So he's trying to basically snake this shadow quite well. So he starts outside. Drali gets his first touch. He realizes he's got to set up a bit of momentum. So he's going to use that to quickly hide behind the ball to make it look like he's going. Try and make Drali go a little bit earlier. And then because it's an aerial play, outside shadowing tends to be the highest success rate for aerial plays in ones. A little bit of back and forth here. Looking for a demo fake to try and get him, sort of herd him into the demo. And a brilliant shot again. Brilliant little bounce dribble power shot. Doesn't leave Drali in the net, which means he's able to recover. Really important, guys. You know, so many people would just front flip that and end up in the opponent's net. And people go, well, why didn't he front? Because of that reason. You don't want to end up in the opponent's net. So there was a moment here where there was quite a few ghost hits. Demo attempt to force to jump. Instantly up. Yeah, so when you do a demo attempt to force to jump, you don't probably have enough time to back off here. And you don't want to back off. So an instant challenge there to try and get up before they can off their landing. A couple of bumps here. Another missed ball. Demo fake. Or, well, actually went for the demo. Good fake from Drali. A little tip here. If someone's going to demo you, turn your car to what we call blade. So he's not side on here. He actually will turn to the left to make his car narrower. There. See how his car's now narrower and you slam your brakes on. And that's a really successful way to dodge the demo. You don't have to jump or any of that stuff. I mean, this is great defending here. Inline shadow save. Bonk. Using the crossbar. I mean, it's a great pinch. Following down as fast as he can here. Taking all the boost on the way. Drali. So obvious that he would go for air dribbles and off the backboard that he actually slows it down here to try and catch Mawkzy off guard. Doesn't work though. Again, because he's such a watcher. Now, what Drali does wrong here is he stops his car and reverses. So he takes a good hitbox into a bad hitbox in the blink of an eye. And this is what people don't realize when they think the game's a luck or stuff like that. Is such small little things can make a massive difference. Here is a brilliant position. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now it's a bad position. And if you watch it from bird's eye, you'll see why. If we slow this right down. We're on the inside position here. Brilliant 50. We've reversed now, and now we're on an outside position. We're thinking more about attacking, so we've lost our goal side hitbox, which if we stayed here, we could continue to side flip and have success. Mawkzy can see that as well. There is nothing behind the ball. Like, there's no protection, so you can take the 50 and bypass, you know, get through the opponent here, take the boost, and so on. We go again. Drali again looking for some mechanics. important path lane here. Mawkzy takes all of the big boosts to allow a counter-attack opportunity that's prolonged in this situation. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Remember earlier I said, you know, these guys really try not to end up in the opponent's net. This is why. Ends up basically in the opponent's net when he gets bumped, which stops him. But that is going to prevent the recovery. But there we go. So it's really simple like that. And save-wise, again, it's aerial. So we start off on the outside and we slowly collapse towards the middle to take the 50. Excellent. Again, good kickoff. Drali gets the better of this one. And he's going to take the ball and just turn it. I mean, what a piece of control. He's dragged the ball back a few times, which now gives him the opportunity to actually cut into it. Again, mixing it up, guys. Don't play the same speed all game. Don't do the same thing all game. Mix it up. Brilliant turn. Brilliant finish. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, it was just brilliant, this is. I'm so glad we've got more of this to come. I do feel that Mawkzy will end up winning this because I feel Europe's better than any other region by far when it comes to the ones game. I really do. So, here we go. Grab the boost. Starts off slightly outside. Goes onto an inline shadow here to hover. So, this is a different kind of defensive maneuver. Drali's gone up from the ground here. So, again, he fakes the wall. And because he's going under the ball, you can get away with a little bit more of an inline shadow. If I'm here, this could be good. I could come up to it. That's absolutely true. I absolutely could. But when they go straight up, you can also go inline. And the reason is it gives you opportunity for the backboard and for fakes. So you're not taking such a swipe. You'll see here the frames of potential ability. Like we can touch it now, we can touch it now. Now we're beat, but we're not beat because we're so inline. We can now try and touch it now. We can come down and touch it now. So by doing that inline shadowing, that inline defending, you get a lot of opportunities. Cold slide defending, whatever you want to call it. If that was off the wall, if that was a bit faster, Mawkzy would probably be more in an outside position because it would be a quicker, easier to read play. When someone's got more control, they can manipulate the ball more. So kickoff here. Again, it is a big thing in ones. So, yeah, Drali got caught on the outside of the ball. I mean, this is what it comes down to, isn't it? Outside of the ball, you can just drive the ball into them, and they're screwed. Gets around it. It's so tough. When you end up on a non-goal side position like that, it can be brutal. It really can. Nice kickoff, looking for the bumps. I think, though, if we're sort of summarising what we've learned here, the big thing I would say, match the height of the ball when it's near a surface. You can't, like, underappreciate that. Because what you're looking at when you're watching Mawkzy play is he's doing the basics well. He's got the mechanic. I mean, he's super clean, guys. He's super clean. I'm not, disputing that. But what he does really well is his vision. You can watch Mawkzy gameplay with the sound off, and you can still know everything. You can see everything. It's always a good test. Now, funny enough, Mawkzy actually uses headphones a lot. If you watch any of his videos, he actually did a No Mechanics Road to Grand Champ ages ago in English. And he talks a lot about using his ears to know what the opponent's doing jump-wise and stuff like that. But you'll see that Mawkzy is very grounded and doesn't really flip a whole lot into things. You see there, he's just grounded. Just so many drive challenges. So the biggest things I could recommend to people is drive challenges are great. But the biggest thing that Mawkzy had that I think no one will have, well, not the majority of people watching this won't have, is the ability of vision. And so if you're in this position, you can't see anyone. You can just use the car, literally move, and now look at the difference. And it's the same with this. This is the biggest key. You guys will be here. And people are saying, no, I'm not. Trust me, I've seen enough replays to know that everyone does this. Everyone does this without knowing where the opponent is. This ball goes over to the wall like this. Most people maybe grab this boost and they go here. And okay, I'm going to wait for it. It's too late. You cannot see anything. So in that situation, if that ball goes to the wall, let's just say, grab this boost, match the height of it. Now look how much vision I've got. I can see everything. And if I don't have the ability to get on the wall, for whatever reason, let's just say I don't, and I come here, and I instantly come into the car cam straight away. And I can do that. I can see where the ball is, and it's the same if I'm here. If I'm in net, If I'm playing pacifist system and I'm in there as second man, so many people will do this and they can't see anything, they come out. What the difference is for us is that we're here, we instantly come here. Because I may not even need to go. And I can use the ball, the circle here, to know everything. And actually, in time, you'll just get a sixth sense. You can go in and out, and you just sort of know where the ball is to be able to hit it. You just sort of know, because you're practicing these skills. So it's really important to learn vision as much as possible. Ball's here, okay? Ball's, let's just say the ball's here. Well, what can I do? Well, it's near a wall, so I come here. Boom. Now I can see everything as I touch it, and it's bouncing again. So I don't follow this down, okay, guys? Like, if it's here, I don't come up here and then go, right, I've got to follow this down. I mean, you can if you can get to it, but let's say you can't get to it, and it's right by the wall. So it's here, and it's bouncing. And I'm matching the height, so I got my vision. Now I got my vision, and it comes down, and actually I can just break. I can just break, and then I can see it again. I can come down like that. Because for the opponent, they see me behind the ball. They don't. Most people don't even know what I'm doing with my nose or anything. They don't know what's going on. They just see me behind the ball, and that's really important. So just make sure you're incorporating a lot of this vision stuff straight away. As soon as we go past the ball, like if you imagine you flip, boom, straight here. Because we might want to block them. See if we can block them, bump them into the net. Do you know what I mean? So always consider your vision. That is the key. The other thing is he barely dodges, guys. He barely dodges into things. And if he does, it's like he's either doing that. So if he's making a save, he's either going to turn slightly like this. Say it's coming across this way. Turn and then side flip to that direction to block it. Or it's all this sort of stuff. Side flips. Perfect side flips. That is so key. You want perfect side flips. And Drali was good at this as well. Would get the boost starve over here. Take the ball back, and then he was waiting, and he'll try and get side on here and do a perfect side flip. Little tip for you, if you are ever taking a side flip like that, or like a triangle defending, try not to invert the triangle defense. And again, we've got a guide on triangle defending. It's one of the Ben's episodes. But generally, when you're thinking of side flipping with the ball, you want to do it with your nose towards the inside of the field, because if I do this, again, this can be awkward, and now I'm stuck, and I can't get my momentum to get back. So generally, when we're around the wall, facing the wall, we don't necessarily want to flip. We also just want to single jump. So if that ball was coming back this way, and let's just say I'm forced to come in here, we're going to do something like that, and we can turn. Or, of course, if you think you're going to win it, you can do the same thing. You can jump up, and you can turn this way. And that way, you're on the wall straight away. On the ball, I should say, straight away. Hopefully, that makes sense, guys. Really appreciate the support on this channel. We've got a lot of big things coming up. I know I say that all the time. You know, I'm working on it. We're trying to take the professional level up over the course of the next half a year. And I've got the big announcement to make as well. And we're going to have another pacifist system soon, because I keep, getting messages about that, which I really appreciate. I'm super pumped about. So, guys, thank you so much for the support. I'm hoping this stuff helps. But aren't we lucky in this game? The great games we get to watch. Thank you for watching. Look after yourself and peace out. Peace.